Welcome to the Bison Information Network. I'm Malik, joined by Mentzel, and the men's basketball team will be taking on second seed SDSU for the semifinals tonight at 8:30. This will be a tough one, not only for the matchup, the environment, and also the tension. Not only does the Bison go through it with the Jackrabbits on the football field, but also with the men's basketball team. This will be tough. Hate to go down memory lane, but last season the Bison lost to SDSU in the championship, so this will be tough. They went 1-1 in the regular season. Dash, I'll let you dive into those two games right now.
Yep, absolutely. Back in January, the Bison defeated the Jackrabbits at home 65-59 in that game. The game was tied at halftime 27-27, and the game went down to the wire, but a good defensive performance and a double-double by Andrew Morgan preserved the victory in that game. And then meanwhile in February, the Bison lost to the Jackrabbits in Brookings 90-85. NDSU had a 2-point lead going into halftime, but the Bison struggled on defense, and they gave up 49 points in the second half. And they also had 10 turnovers on offense as well. And they shot 59% on offense, which is good, but they gave up 41 points to Zeke Mayo. So, yeah, when you give up 41 players to a single person, that's odds are you were doing something wrong on defense.
Yeah, speaking of Mayo, we'll get to him later. But speaking of how the Bison did last night, as far as players, Grant Nelson, we harped on him for the players of the game for last night. He did what he did, double-double, 23 points, 11 rebounds. He had to carry that team, especially how they started off last night against USD. Bowden Scumberg, pure scorer, 17 points, 2 threes, 2 crucial threes down the stretch of that first half. He got the Bison back in it, creating some rhythm. And Javis Miller, the freshman, first time in this arena, he had a shaky start, but then he came back around. He had a couple clutch shots.
Definitely going to need the star players to give everything they have tonight. Going to need a lot of players to be scoring in double figures, and the defense is going to have to be on point tonight throughout the entire game. Last night in the game, it seemed like in the beginning of the second half, the defense kind of tapered off. They're not going to be able to get away with that tonight. So they're going to have to show defense in all 40 minutes of this game.
Definitely, because right now outside it's a blue out. So they're definitely going to have to start with some create a rhythm and be consistent. The minute they go down, the minute the crowd starts revving up SDSU is when, the momentum starts shifting.
Yeah, you can't fall behind. You can't let SDSU gain that momentum, because once the crowd gets into it, then it's very hard to get yourselves back into it. So NDSU are going to have to be, from the start of this game, on point.
Yep, some of the keys to the game. First one, start out strong. Last night they struggled against USD, came out pretty sloppy. They got to get to it fast, especially with this environment, this crowd out here.
Absolutely. And second point of the game contained Zeke Mayo. They gave up 41 points to him the last time that they played. Now, Zeke Mayo did have a bit of a struggle in the game against Omaha. A lot of their players did. They struggled heavily on offense against Tennessee at Omaha. However, they're still not to be taken lightly. We know they can score a lot of points, and we know that Zeke Mayo can score at least 40 points in a game against NDSU.
Definitely.
And finally, stay consistent. Do not fall behind early. Do not fall behind late. Don't fall behind at any time, really. You got to keep up with them, and possibly, if you get the lead, keep that lead. Keep the foot on the gas, because you can't just let them gain momentum and get back in this game, because you just mentioned that the fans are going to take this game over if SDSU gains too much momentum.
Definitely, and tonight I think this will show how close the Bison are. These guys are going to have to stick together, especially in this environment like we keep harping on. They're going to, when one falls down, they're going to have to bring each other up. That's all they got tonight.
And we mentioned last night too, it was a similar atmosphere with USD, a lot of red in that crowd, but however, this is going to be another animal tonight. A lot more blue in this crowd tonight, and it's good that they got that experience out of the way against USD, against, a rowdy environment like that, but this is going to be even bigger than that.
Yep, we'll see what happens. We'll catch you guys at the half.